Welcome to the Reboot Chronicles, your gateway to the world's most influential leaders who are rebooting their organizations and themselves to thrive in unprecedented times. I'm your host, Dean DeBias, CEO who's rebooted dozens of companies, creating billions in value. My passion is uncovering inspiring reboot stories. So buckle up, lean in, and please share this episode with a friend. It may help reboot their career and their life.
Today, the Reboot Chronicles, I'm happy to welcome Artur Wisniewski, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Allianz North America, where he is leading a transformative reboot of Allianz Trade business. Founded in Munich, Germany back in 1890, one of my favorite cities, Allianz has grown into one of the world's leading insurers of asset managers, with 156,000 employees across 70 countries who generate over $200 billion of annual revenue. And through its vast network of subsidiaries like PIMCO and others, they invest over $900 billion for clients and manage trillions of third-party assets. Artur has spent 2 decades rebooting key business groups while building and scaling platforms across the globe in CEO and leadership roles, from Paris and Bucharest to Louisville and Maryland. His work today focuses on bringing the brand into what I call 21st century competitiveness, something that's easier said than done when you're rebooting some of the largest companies on the planet. He's bringing automation, AI, and advanced data intelligence deeper into their core DNA to strengthen decision-making, improve speed, and enhance their customer outcomes, something we all need. We'll also discuss where fraud is evolving, how companies and leaders like you can better protect themselves, and tips on how you can be a rebooter like Artur. Good to see you, Artur. Welcome to the show.
Good to see you, Dean.
Lots to talk about. Allianz is such a massive, big dog company, we call them on the program, one of the largest in the world. And so rather than explaining everything that the big gorilla does, what is Allianz Trade? What do you guys actually focus on?
Well, Allianz Trade is you can say, after this all big numbers you put at first, we are a small part of Allianz with only like 4 billion in top line, present in few countries,
which is huge. That's huge in itself.
But to this 200 billion you mentioned, it's we are not that big, but we are quite an important asset for Allianz because we insure transactions between companies. So this is like a bloodline for the entire economy, and we are the first factor if, for example, the crisis is coming. We see a lot of insolvencies all over the world, and obviously Allianz wants to see it first. So we are also, for our parent company, indicator if there is something going on in the markets.
So do you also? So I do a lot of M&A deals when we're closing transactions. I don't think I've ever insured one. Do you guys do deals like that, or is it more trade?
More trades of also surety and specialty credit, but mostly the trade.
And you ensure that it's like there's integrity and it's going to happen, and there's
we assess the risk for our customers. So we say that, for example, if someone is coming to us and says, "Hey, I want to sell the $10 million to this company," so through our databases and everything, we are checking the potential risk, and we say, yes, this buyer is good for 10 million, this buyer is not good at all, or this buyer is good only for 1 million.
Yeah, I want to hear some stories about that later if you can. But let's flip the script. Let's talk about you. You've probably moved 20 times. I mentioned just a few places, Paris and Bucharest and Louisville and Maryland. Not many people have that on their resume. What's it been like moving, you and your family around in all these different cultures and companies? And you're kind of the go-to guy, it seems like.
It's indeed very interesting in my family life. We've been doing it for the last 16 years. When I started, we had only 2 kids. Now we have 5 kids. So it is really difficult to move 5 kids.
Whoa.
Around the globe.
5 kids. I can't imagine that. I can barely move myself.
Yes, but the good thing about it is that all they are at least training well, that they know a lot of different cultures. That they know that US, for example, is not a unitarian country, but this is 50 countries in one. We Europeans do this mistake very often, that we see US as a one country. This is not. From the family perspective, it's been quite a challenge, but it looks like they like it.
Yeah, I bet your kids know that better than anyone. I mean, living in Louisville and then Maryland, totally different cultures. Oh my gosh. I moved my kids around just really to Silicon Valley and back to Chicago. And I think that made them a little more well-rounded, not as much as yours. They probably speak multiple languages as well.
Yeah, three languages at least. We are Polish. My wife is Polish. So the most difficult, I think, in this journey is to sustain the mother tongue, since they are in an English-speaking environment. So they speak even to each other in English. So keeping Polish is really the biggest challenge.
One of the things I've noticed in America is if you're from the South, you don't lose your mother tongue. So maybe that could be a good comparable for her to think about. And you've also moved. Even you were in CEO roles. You're COO of a much bigger, broader, messier thing. What's that been like for you? Your career transition as you've grown. Any tips there for people that are either going through that or want to go through that, especially globally when they want to move around the world, do what you did?
You need to have an open mind. So it's the most important thing, and be ready for unexpected things. Whatever you think about the place you are going to, it will be probably 10 times more difficult and 50 times different than you thought. So if you think that you go somewhere and everything is like in movies, it's not gonna happen. So if you are ready for the unexpected, then you are ready to go. The biggest challenge after is to make sure that you understand the local culture. It's not that you think that you understand is a nice thing. When, for example, you mentioned Louisville, Kentucky, I can tell you that when I moved there, I thought that my English is quite okay at the time, and for 3 months I struggled to understand what people are talking about. So now probably with salt and steaks, I still have some problems. I understand a lot, but I still have some problems. So it's been so. This is the most important, to be open to unexpected and to make sure that you tackle it one by one.
Yeah, not to mention the culture clash. I can't imagine moving from, Europe to Kentucky. I mean, I can make fun of Kentucky because I have a lot of family. My mom's side was from there, because it's just, that must have been complete immersion. Moving to New York would have been a little different, or Chicago. But what about, as you've managed large leadership teams, management teams, people, frontline, all over the world, has there been anything in your leadership style that didn't change and adapt? It's like your core.
Yeah, my core is that I always listen to people. The second thing is that I always try to have people at least as smart as me around me. Some of them are much smarter than me, and I'm trying to learn from them. And to be honest, I think my leadership style is that people are first. If you have a good relation with people, you can achieve everything for your company.
Yep, I agree. I think that's one of the reasons we had you on. That's your reputation. What misconceptions do people have about working in big behemoth companies like Allianz?
Well, that everything is very structured. I think this is the biggest misconception.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a lot of global programs. Yes, we have a lot of ideas on global products. But actually, the most important is to align with the local expectations. So if you are able to do so, then probably you're in a good place. If you think that it is just what is good for Germans, it's good as good for Americans, probably it's not the case.
Yeah, I even learned that in Germany when I was running a company in Europe. It says the people in Berlin, are much different than Frankfurt or, hit your others. The large cities versus the small cities, it's very different. But And then when you start looking at that strategy and the people, you've obviously got a lot of, we call it people, platform, and passion. Those are the three things that you need to reboot a company. You're focused a lot on platform right now, it seems like. So are you at Allianz Trade, are you basically redoing all the tech platforms, tell us what your reboot's like and the journey. What's it been like?
Yeah, we've been in this journey for the last 5 years with a lot of hiccups and as you said, misconceptions, how easy or how difficult it is. We are almost done. Probably in 2 years, we will be like globally in one platform. It will really help us to scale our products and to be competitive compared to our biggest competitors on the market, because none of them managed this journey yet. So I think this is the biggest strength. If you have this vision of one platform, but of course, as I said, adjusted to the local necessities. So if you can scale it, then you are successful, and we are very close to it.
And from a market point of view, what do you think your organizations, there's various levels of them, different groups, different brands, different companies, what do you think is the biggest competitive threat for you out there? For instance, AI comes up over and over as both, hey, nice to have, we can compete better, but it's also giving a lot of large firms some heartburn because there's other companies that are using it to take share away from them. Yeah, what's the landscape look like for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed, AI is the biggest threat and the biggest misconception. Some of our customers think that they don't need anymore the professional knowledge we can provide them and protection, because AI will tell them the same our experts can do. And we are so happy that the AI is not at that level. Of course, AI is also helping us a lot in our current setup, because we can discover a lot of difficult in the past to discover threats of fraud, for example. We had a lot of situations that in the past we will just go through it, and today it's marked as strange. And our specialists, when they are looking at it, indeed there is a attempt to either make our customer purchase something they shouldn't, or us pay for something we shouldn't. So a lot of help, but always the last word has a human still. So it's a good thing.
Right. Not everyone could say that, but especially in your market, this is high risk stuff that needs eyeballs on it, not robots. But really, it's both, because you're using it to flag inaccuracies, errors, suspicion that maybe we all don't have time to figure out. And you're right. It's like you can't trust it for everything. So in your space, you probably don't feel the competitive threat as much. It's like I've got a GM vehicle. Well, I won't say which one, but it's got Super Cruise on it, which is what they brand theirs as. So I turn it on, but I don't totally trust it. My hands are always ready to take over. I think the Tesla one's a little bit better, but even so, they can all make mistakes. So can humans. So how do you, I guess, de-risk that? When you look at your core business, ensuring, big time transactions and trade, you've got things like crypto now, you've got all different types of electronic stuff going on. You mentioned in one of your articles, check fraud is at an all-time high. I didn't know people use checks anymore. So, what's the biggest risk right now facing your sector, and how are you trying to fix that?
Well, it's much easier now with all this electronic advances and AI advances to set the path that it's not easy to discover that this is a path to do the fraudulent attempt. We had situations that for the last 2-3 years, some companies were building a trust of using also some fraudulent activities on websites and so on. And we almost fell for it. It's really our knowledge of the market protected us from this trust of 10 companies or 20 companies trying to make a big deal and disappear. So I don't know if there is a recipe to protect all of us from this. It's we need to still think. Your brain cannot be replaced yet with AI. AI can help you to, as I mentioned before, to mark something what is out of the pattern of you usually see. But if you use both, then you are relatively safe on the market. If you don't use any, including your brain, then probably it's not that easy to survive.
Yeah, I'll give you a hearing when you're bored. What is the fraud triangle?
You mean that's how we see it?
Yeah, you've referenced it before, the fraud triangle, different components.
Well, this is people see that we are working in this environment, that we protect transactions. So some companies think that okay, let's use them. Let's build the trust on the market because we either become a customer of such a company or become a buyer insured by such company, and then if we don't spot it on time, they try to make more companies falling into this trap. So as I said, we are quite good in discovering it. We don't have mercy. We usually work with authorities to dip further on it. But this is something what we see more and more frequently.
Yeah, I read something about pressure, opportunity, rationalization, the different things that you look at it. What do your clients? I mean, they're trying to insure risk, really digital insurance, if you will. What are you seeing as the biggest mistakes companies are still making out there?
Well, in US or in global, because this is a different thing.
Yeah. Let's start with the US.
In US, the biggest misconception is that if I know John for 30 years, nothing can happen. That John will never do the stupid things, then John will always pay me and so on. And then suddenly after 2, 3, 5 years, we have such potential customers coming. Well, I know John, he's a great guy, but unfortunately he mismanaged his finances and he's not paying. So this is the biggest misconception in US. Globally, the biggest misconception is about over-financing the business.
Over-leveraging. So you mentioned a risk of a person. It's like, hey, it's always worked with this guy. We don't have to check him anymore. So how do you guys figure that out? You can figure out that this person that's supposed to be sending me this money, I've already got the parts already on a plane. You guys have algorithms that just snap out the likely and the unlikely to fail?
Well, yes, it's this is the one, the algorithms. The second thing is that we have a sector specialists who monitor the market, so we know that this kind of business is in general in US under pressure now. So we see those patterns and we can alert our customers that hey, you can maybe slow down with this company, and maybe you can withdraw completely, and so on. Of course, and believe me, this is not only about the small companies. Sometimes I saw discussions about multi-billion companies with the deals make on shake hands and then falling everything apart. We are on the market, on US market, for more than 120 years. So we are in each state. We have a deep knowledge on what's going on, and with the tools we use, this knowledge is only getting bigger. So it's not only about we think we know better. Yes, we know. I'm not saying that we are not making mistakes because we pay claims to our customers. So this is not about avoiding claims. This is about minimizing the risk of trade.
And what's your advice to, we had John Chambers on the program, Chairman Emeritus of Cisco and huge investor. And he basically does not allow his investments, his new companies to invest in any of the, the different state sponsors of bad behavior, I call it. So China was the biggest one on his list. Loves India, of course. But how do you advise people about doing business with, China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, other bad actors?
Well, North Korea or Russia currently are excluded from our list, so we cannot.
I figured that one. That was an easy one.
Or Iran or Iran or whatever. But if you want to expand your business and make it on the market, you should have a partner like Allianz Trade who knows perfectly what can be done. So as I said, we are a global company. We know we have information from inside those companies. So if you want to expand, find a partner who can tell you what you can do there.
So cybersecurity has, been around for quite some time as an attack plane, and hundreds of companies have gone after it, made a lot of money going after it, but it continues to evolve and the threats never go away. Is AI making that worse for you or better since you're the helper?
Well, it's obviously this, as I told you at the beginning, AI is making it easier for the bad actors to be faster and to make things more realistic.
Any good examples there of some bad acting enabled by AI that have been kind of foiled at this point?
Well, nothing what I can tell you about still, because there are a few things which are under investigation. But yes, there've been attempts to use the AI and other schemes to.
Any that have been out there already in the news that most people don't monitor this kind of stuff, but when they hear the stories, they're like, "Oh my gosh, we still do that." Like, yeah, you do. You should.
There are a lot of news about over leveraging of where we were around this news, but not about AI or cybersecurity we've been involved or suffered from. So
you. I mean, you're not really a cyber company, but you get pulled into it big time. You're obviously trying to do it. What's been your biggest reboot issues? Over the years, what's been your toughest company reboot?
Well, I think the one with my previous tenure in US, we bought a small collection company at the time, because if you insure trades, if you have claims and then you try to collect the money you paid to the customers, so we thought that buying the collection company will be a good addition to our business in US. This company was also quite strong on what we call third-party collection market, so not necessarily related to the credit insurance. So we thought that it can be quite a good spot for us. So when I was sent to assess how we can scale up the company and make it bigger and better for us. Well, it's maybe funny story. I made a tour all over the US, visiting my sales reps in 20 cities, and in each city I asked for two things: set two meetings with customers, current customers, set two meetings with potential customers. So I had a lot of great meetings with our customers, but in vast majority of cities I visited, I was not very happy what I see. And in one city, I had potential 4 meetings, but it happened that sales rep couldn't set any meetings. So we tried to make cold visits. So it didn't work, and
cold calls. Oh no,
cold calls. Yes. So and the second visit to our at the time biggest customer I was at the time fresh European, so dressed in suit, tie, and so on. So it was set in Florida, in Miami, hit like crazy. And we visited the Friday afternoon and visited the customer. Yes,
hot humidity with a suit on.
And the guy looking at me said, "Well, you're a little bit overdressed." I said, "Yes, okay." So I took out the tie. But the shocking moment was that when he said to my sales representative, "Oh, finally, good to see you after 2 years." So we decided at the time that probably it's time to focus on insurance business. So we still have this company doing collection. There are great people doing it, but we do the collection only for our own debts or our customers' debts, insured customer debts. So it was like a moment of truth for what to do about the company. Also for quite a long time on the market, and we are still happy of having them, but in a completely different parameter now.
Sounds like you had to upgrade your sales force there too.
Well, we focus on the sales force from insurance companies, so it was working quite well.
Yeah. Well, you're not wearing a suit anymore. That's good.
I'm a little bit Americanized now. Yes.
Yeah, for me, it's like weddings and funerals. How about yourself? What's been your biggest personal reboot? You probably had many.
Well, I think yes, I mentioned already the hassle with moving with the family is the biggest, and of course the environments we live in. And actually, we are not yet in the complete reboot here in US, because one of my daughters is going through the personal situation with anorexia. So this is, I think, the biggest hit on us personally, and even
Very
if
tough.
the change of the environment from Romania to US helped a lot, but we are not yet out of the woods.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Sorry. Hey, speaking of your kids, you've got 5, so I think you've got some good lessons here. How are you coaching them to prepare for the workforce? It might be early for some of them, but yeah, what are you telling them to? I know they're always interested in different things, but as dads, we often oversubscribe advice. So.
Yeah, that's I allow them to experiment a lot. I'm not the kind of a parent who said, "Okay, you should do this or you shouldn't do that." Say they want, one of my daughters in the artist and then studying movie animation in Paris. The second one is completely in a different way. I've never said a single word that it is good or bad. I repeat only one thing to each of my kids. Remember that the learning is not something what you finish when you graduate the school. Probably the learning starts when you graduate the school. So it works for the moment quite well with the oldest ones. Yes, as you mentioned, the couple of them are still too young to understand this lesson, but the constant learning is extremely important from my perspective, because I've been, I'm completely different person probably now than 20 years ago. So it's
I bet, yeah, exactly. And how about the next generation? Older ones. They're getting out of college, sometimes getting MBAs, sometimes, but they're basically entering the workforce. And many of them, they talk to me, and I usually really coach them up on entrepreneurship and smaller companies, startups. What kind of advice do you give to this next gen that you want to come and work for you?
Well, it's first of all, for a couple of days, sit and listen, and then ask questions. There's no stupid questions. You can only learn from people who went through similar process in the past. So sit and listen, and then ask questions, and you will understand what needs to be done, and what's your place in the workforce in the company.
And any good reasons you give them to come work for you guys versus a competitor?
The only one I think is that this is a really global company, and if you want to spend time not only sitting in the office, but have contacts all over the world, this is the place to start your career with. This is the place to learn a lot of things. This company invests enormous money in people's development. I've never worked for anyone else investing so much in people. So even if ultimately you decide to work for someone else, I think you are living our company on definitely different level.
Thanks, Artur. You've been listening to Artur Wisniewski on the Reboot Chronicles with Dean Tobias. Please subscribe, listen, and like us wherever you get podcasts or at rebootchronicles.com.